Hi, everyone. And the story continues. We've got Melanie Aristidou with us. Hi, Mel. How are you?
I'm good. Great to be here.
I know I'm super excited because I know you are helping companies globally with their sales in regards to closing on a sale through the power of words and educating their team, which I totally love because my love language is words of affirmation. So I totally know the powerful way that words have on our life. Yeah.
Mm.
So, did you want to tell us a bit more about? I know that you help people as well follow their dreams and you inspire them to help follow their dreams. Did you want to tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, so I think it just starts with really wanting to just go out and help people. So you've got to have that heart to serve. And whenever I meet someone, I always want to be like a positive blessing in their life rather than like a pain in their life. Like I want them to be grateful that I've been there rather than annoyed or irritated. But like I don't just mean that about people in the workplace. And I'll give an example.
Yeah.
Like I was on a flight yesterday, sat next to a Polish couple, and they were coming to Cyprus for their holiday. And I'm a local, so I just gave him 3 or 4 recommendations, wrote them down for him, gave him a bit of like history about the country. And so now he's going to have a better quality holiday because of the locals' recommendations. So that's just like serving, like being there and seeing how you can just like contribute, even just in the tiniest way, because it's the tiniest things that really cause the ripple effect. And, if you start by making a difference in one person's lives, then maybe they'll pass it forward. So I think I've always tried with that philosophy. And there's a weird thing about giving as well, and just blessing lives is I think we actually get more from it. So the times when, like, I can think of 3 times right now where I did something just because I saw the person needed help. And so one of the times was um, I saw a lady, I was living in London, and I saw an old lady struggling with her shopping bags. And it was probably 2 or 3 streets more. But I just thought, you know what, let me just carry the shopping bags. Now, she can give me nothing back apart from this good feeling that I still have about, what is it? That was 2014, and now we're in 2020. Oh my
Two.
goodness, isn't it like, right? So I think that's just where everything starts, is just having a heart to serve. And even if you're not going to have anything back, knowing that you're going to have that feeling of feeling, you know what, I helped somebody today. And that's almost like heart filling. It's fulfillment. So I really love with, like, in everything that you do it because of the difference you can make in the world. Do it because of the gap in the market that you can serve. Do it because there's a problem which you can fix. Don't necessarily just get into business for, the money, because you won't necessarily get there if that's the only reason you've got there. But if you really get into it because you love the game, you love helping lives and moving forward, then I think that's a great place to start. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, I totally love that. I totally get that, right? Because, you can help people and not know the impact that they're going to have from it, right?
Yeah.
I was at my drive-through coffee shop and I ordered a drive-through coffee, and then this lady was like walking up, because you can also walk up and get one. And she kind of looked like a bit, low a little bit. So I was like, hey, and the people knew me there. So I was like, hey, can you just let me pay for that old lady? She was a bit old lady, like a 80s, 90s. I said, oh, can you pay for a coffee? Anyway, she was like later on, because I was just waiting in the car for my coffee, and later on the cashier came and told me, oh, but she was more thankful to the cashier, but I didn't really care because I just wanted to like gift her something. And she was like, oh, she was so thankful, she wasn't having a really good day, and it's just made her feel much better. And like, because basically you just want to help, you don't even actually, like, lots of times I don't actually want the actual thanks and all that. I just want to be able to do it for them. So then that way
Knowing
they're
that
helping.
you can.
Yeah.
Right? That's an incredible feeling. And that's what I say to people in like network marketing. I'm like, do you know what? Like, if because network marketing is designed to be an extra paycheck, right? So that you have something extra, because it's better to have it and not need it rather than to need it and not have it. And when you're constantly in need, and you have to rely on other people to give to you, or you constantly need hands out, that doesn't make you feel good about yourself, and it doesn't make you feel like you can constantly give. So that's one of the things that I love about my industry is you have the opportunity to have extra so that you can give more. You're in a place of abundance and serving. Yeah.
I know, because out of abundance, we all know what happens. So basically that, and there's so many, like, I get that thing where people are like, why would you do that? Or, you're so busy. Why would you do that? But it's like, I can't explain why, but I don't understand why you can't. Like some people might think, why would you do that? But it's like, well, why wouldn't you? Like, I want to help like everybody. And I know we can't help everybody, but if my son, right, I was talking business, right? Because he's like all onto business. And he was saying, I was talking about this situation and he was like, yeah, Mum, isn't there that saying about, and it's the one about the fisherman and how you can either teach someone how to fish or just give them a fish. And I just love that he reminded me of that, because basically you can teach people, and network marketing is the same. Like, I know how amazing you are with network marketing, and like actually making the training really like real, so that you can actually use it and it's transparent. You can actually use network marketing strategies in other different businesses, right? They're all the same. But like, there's this other aspect with what you're doing, and it actually is a place to serve. And it is that serving heart that maybe not everyone's got it, or maybe they're a little bit dull, so they don't feel like it. But we really can ignite that in many people. And there's something powerful when you say, I'm going to do that, and then you do it, and it can actually have that ripple effect, like you say, and really impact a person that in more ways than one. Like, and then they go and do it for other people. And then the fact that, like, paying it forward, like, it's so powerful in that, and being able to help people that can't help you. There's just something, like, sometimes I've been in situations where someone's helped me and I'm like, wow, like they have no idea how much they've helped me. And it's like, it gives you more hope, and it's like a way that you can't even explain it. And then you're like, yep, I want to help more people. I want to do this. Do you find you've got similar?
Yeah, just memory came back to me when you were saying that. And so when I was very, very early on in my career, I want to say I was like 22, maybe 23 years old. Finances weren't that easy for me. Like, if you look at how much I was paying in rent in comparison to how much I was getting in my job, I just didn't make enough money to cover the rent and to be able to get to work and to be able to afford food. Like, there was no extra. There was no social life. There was no, female shopping. There were no luxury products. There was definitely no travel. Like, it was the basic necessities that I was living, like a very basic life of like going to work, eating, sleeping. Like, that was like, and I had lots of jobs like sort of do that. And one day I didn't have £1 for the bus. It's like $2. Like, I didn't even have $2 to get the bus to work. And I was late, and my card declined on the bus, and I didn't have cash. And some woman just gave to me. And I remember that moment. And like there's a couple of ways that you can look at the moment. And I think Tony Robbins talks about it when he started the Basket Brigade. And I don't know who knows about the Basket Brigade, but look into it in your area. If you're watching this, have a look into the Basket Brigade, because it is a charity that feeds over 1 million homes at Christmas. And there's two ways you can react to when somebody gives to you, right? You can feel completely vulnerable and embarrassed and irritated and withdrawn and like the lowliest of low, or you can feel so grateful and blessed and want to pay it forward. And I felt both feelings, to be honest with you, because my head was like, you don't even have $2. Like, what the hell is life? Like, what is this? But then it also gave me the feeling of people are kind, and you should go out and be kind and be helpful, and do that and help as many people as you can out of that situation, because you're able to relate, because you've been there and you know what that feels like. And so I think it's very interesting, because I'm sure all of us have had a time in our lives when we've been vulnerable and needed, like a hand out or a hand up, right? And instead of like, because Tony's father felt so embarrassed when he was given that hamper at Christmas that he left. he left the family, but Tony got something else and he felt grateful. So it's two different people, same situation, reacting differently. So if you have a choice to pick the feeling that empowers you, and I know that as humans, we're like such emotional people, right? So, sometimes we've got to be logical. We've got to write down the two feelings that we're feeling, or the two possible feelings that we could choose from, and choose to go with the other one. It's like that saying, it's better to have loved than lost than to have never loved at all. So you're choosing to be grateful for what did happen. Yeah.
Yeah. I know. And the thing is like, I find that people just, I love giving, but some people don't understand why I want to give, right? And so I find at Christmas time, it's easier and I can just like give, and then they're like, take it. Whereas like, it is that sense of like, do I deserve this? And why do I deserve it? They have to actually ask themselves, am I allowed to take this? Like there's so much, and it can go back from, even when we're younger, when we're taught certain, rules. But it's the fact of like, so many people are like, oh, hang on, no, I don't need that. They think they don't need it, but they probably do. And it's like, can you give yourself the like permission to be able to take? It's such a vulnerable thing, and then you're showing them that you are vulnerable, and lots of people don't like that feeling because it can be
I don't like that feeling. Like I don't like to be vulnerable. That's been one of the biggest growth areas for me, is like being vulnerable, being like, I am a proud person. I like to always know that, I've got everything under control and I don't need help and I don't like reaching out. So I completely empathize with these people of like, and I think I'm not Muslim, by the way, but there is a saying in Islam about don't be proud. And I was working with a group of Muslim children in London, and it was almost like they'd misinterpreted the message. So I think the message is don't be proud. Like, don't be so proud that you won't escape, you won't allow help into your life when you need it, like allow somebody to help you. But the way that they'd interpreted it is don't be proud of your work, which I completely disagree of. So I feel that there was a missing piece of translation in the English language, because for me, when Islam goes, don't be proud, it's like, don't be too proud to say, actually, we need to work together on this, or actually, I can do with some help. I don't know what I'm doing here. Like, don't struggle when you could have the help. And I don't just mean financially. I mean with a lot of different things in life. Like maybe you're on a work project and you have to admit, do you know what? I actually got no idea what I'm doing here. I'm going to need some help. And I think that's the pride that they talk about, rather than the, I'm proud of what I've achieved in life. Because I think there's good pride and bad pride. Yeah.
No, yeah, there is. And it's actually like psychologically, because there's like Sigmund Freud talks about this with regards to your id ego and your super ego. And, there's so many different, like we've got 3 different types of egos. And so it's really going, okay, what is this? Like, am I going against my ego? Is this what it is? Because a lot of people have trouble with that ego side of things. So I have to, even me, I find, so when I was 12, right, I was fostered. And so I kind of learned back then, I've got to work it all out myself. I've got to do it. And so sometimes I find myself just like, nah, I've got to do it. And I just feel like I just go, no, I'm not concentrating on anything else. And I'm going to work it out and I'm going to do it. And like, sometimes you just can't. And I've been in situations with my son, like medically, and I'm like, okay, look, I've tried and I don't know what's happening, but can you help me know what to do? Because I haven't studied this medical side. Can you help me? And it's so sad, because you just try and work it out yourself and you can't. And we're not supposed to do it all. And that's why that's how the world goes, right? World goes around, because we're actually supposed to get help. But you just have to let go of that pride and that ego and say, okay. And it's not anything to do with like that we lack things and we're weak or anything. It actually is it's such a strength by, I think people are taught like you can't cry and you can't have pride, but it's actually a strength in actually being vulnerable. What do you think?
Yes. But I think there's a time and a place.
Yes.
Yeah. So I can't be playing victim. There's a difference between playing victim and being vulnerable.
Yes,
and,
that's right. Yeah.
And there's a time to admit, hey, please, I need some help with this. But I'm not a big fan of I've got certain people in my head right now that always have a problem, and it's always poor me, and this always happens to me, and this went wrong, and this problem in my life, and it's kind of tiring. So I think, sure, if you've got a story, come to somebody that can help you with a story. Let them help you. But if you continue to play that victim after you've been offered help, it's no longer acceptable. And that was one of the things that really annoys me with our industry, with network marketing, because we go to people with a solution for how you can have some extra money coming in, right? So we go with that solution of hey, this can fix your financial problems if you're willing to work for it, if you're willing to commit for it, if you're willing to follow the training system that we put in front of you. And if they say, you know what, it's not the opportunity for me, my mindset is this: fine, don't complain to me about not having money anymore. Go and find another solution because I've just offered you a solution. So I feel that, and sometimes as women, we like to vent, but then if venting helps us solve those problems, fine. But if you're venting the same story again and again and again and again and again, and you're not willing to be given a solution that is going to help you up or help you out, then is the time to stop telling that story. You've got to go, how many times have I told this story and not found a solution? Yeah.
I know totally where you're coming from, because I'm I have some people in my life where I'm like, yep, this is it. And then we're talking about this because this is a problem and this is a solution. Let's get on with it. And then a month later, they're still talking about the problem. And I'm like, hang on, wait, we worked this out already. You're supposed to be doing that. But sometimes people just don't want that. Or they're used to that feeling. Whereas I just I'm such a go-getter and we get on with it. I talk about something to work something out and then get on with it. Whereas some people, I think they're used to that feeling, or that's what they think life's supposed to be. But it can't be that, because otherwise you won't progress. You'll be stagnant, and but I know what what you talk about does actually get results. I know that. And so that's what I love, that you just you really have to work out who is actually going to be, worth the time, get on with it, or who's going to pull you down. And, because you really have to be strategic, right? Don't you think that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Building leaders.
Calculated, know your plan, know where you're going for sure. And you know what, if you don't have a destination in mind, or a goal in mind, or some kind of direction in your life, you're generally just kind of wandering around, right?
Just
not getting anywhere.
Yeah, that's right. It's in business, it's I have this certain stage, and I'm do you want to be a drifter? Do you want to just get on with it? Do you want to be in elite? So some people actually have to make that choice to be able to go, yep, okay, I'm comfortable. I just want to stay here. That's fine. But then we just have to get on with actually finding the right people that really do want to get on with it.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I love it. It's almost going, who do I want to be? Then doing the actions which take you to be the person that you want to be.
Yes.
I don't know whether that's really advanced personal development, but because you can say, you know what, I want to be fitter or healthier, just as an example. Great, but you can't just say it. You've got to start doing the activity that leads you to being that person. I want to be more financially intelligent. Great. What are you going to do about it? You're going to learn, you're going to read some books, you're going to go out and find friends who perhaps have more knowledge than you. With every statement that you put out there about who you want to be in the future, you've got to have an action plan to back it up.
Yeah, you definitely do. You have to be really strategic and this is where I'm going. This is who I want to aspire to be, or this is what I want to be doing, and plug into that. And then always bring yourself back and look back on it and go, okay, have I been meeting my target? Have I been meeting my goals? And have I been smashing it out? And you might find because I look back and I'm oh yeah. And sometimes days I'm oh, I need to do more. But I look back and go, no, I've done so much and I actually am doing it. And there's a time and place for everything. And it's like, but you've just got to keep going,
Yeah.
That's what I found. And so why, I wanted to know, so why do you do this?
Why do I do what I do?
Yes.
Love of the game. Like,
yeah.
I started my journey because I needed extra. I needed extra finances. Like, you've heard the story.
Yeah.
Like, I was in a pretty financial vulnerable state, and I wanted to change that. I didn't like the feeling of where I was at. And so I kept looking for opportunities to gain more extra money. I found network marketing and it made perfect sense. Was able to walk away from having any job at all within 2.5 years of like working almost every day. Moved out to Australia, which is where I met you. But then after you get to the point where you do have enough and you've created that extra source of income, and you've got enough to take care of yourself and others or the family. I stayed in for the love of the game. And the love of the game is legacy. So I'll give you an example, right? I just went out to do a training for our team in Sweden. No one's in my team in Sweden, not a single person. So I make zero money through going to Sweden, but I did go there and spend my time, right? I spent a whole weekend there, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, pouring into these people. And I know their businesses had changed from that weekend. First of all, we got tangible results from the weekend. Like, the way that I like to work is workshopping. So I could see their business change before my eyes. Like, a lot of them that had a stagnant business had their diaries filled up for the week. A lot of them that hadn't committed to self-development actually made a commitment to self-development as well, and decided to come to, a company convention for the first time. So I know that now, because if I did a good job there, that's going to impact lives, and not just their lives. It's going to continue down the line, because now with that belief in them, they're going to start to believe in other people and other people and other people. And it's going to be a generational impact. So that's really why I still do what I do. Like, yes, everybody needs money. It goes without saying, but I got in for money. I stay in for the love of the game, because there's so many ways to make money these days. But I love sitting with people every day and finding out about them and how I can help them, and putting a goal in place, and then seeing them develop and seeing them become a different person, and seeing them go from like scared and nervous to confident and assertive. So yeah, love of the game, man.
I know. I love that. Because like, that's what I love. That's why I do what I do. Because it's like that ripple effect that people will then help inspire and change their lives and their families. It really can change their whole world, even their country. Like, there's just so, and I love the fact that when you're on the weekend, they were thinking about personal development, right? Because a lot of it's about personal development. I know you're huge on that. And so the thing is like, when we establish a stronger person that we are, then everything else is even stronger, and people around us recognize that, and they want to kind of gravitate to that. Do you know what I mean? And gravitate around us. This is why I keep following you, and we still interact with each other, because we're so alike. You and I could talk for hours if we were just doing coffee. And so I love that. Yeah. And like, and I know, so your story a while ago was about children, right? And I know that's a different story. But I love the fact that we both have that heart where we want to help serve people, but we also have that heart for helping children, and really, because, that's how, it's just like such a soft, like, area in our heart, hey, to be able to help children and to really make a difference in them. Because when we believe in them and when we can inspire them, then, and those parents are going to go home and they're going to be happier, and then they're going to put that onto children, and because people do that, and so it's just, what did you want to add to that?
In terms of helping children, yeah. So right now I'm in a blessed position where I can work with children once a week, every week. They're Ukrainian refugees that I teach here in Cyprus, and I go and I just pump into them, but I don't need anything back. Whereas before, the problem that I had in the UK where I was teaching children was I didn't have enough for me. Therefore, if I'm teaching them with an empty cup and I'm constantly worried about, I've got to get to the next job or the next thing, or, I can't just fully pour into them. And so another thing that I'm so excited about was we were partnered together in a previous company, right? Where we used to have a charity arm with Hug It Forward. And my biggest regret when this company went out of business was I'd funded 4 schools, but never built a school with my own hands. So I'd given, but I hadn't given time. Like, I'd given money, not time. And so with my new company, we've just partnered with Hug It Forward again. I'm so hyped up about that. So I'm it's in my plan in 2023, late August, to go out to Guatemala and actually be hands-on with those children. So it's not just the children that we see the difference of, which are the children of network marketers. And like, a name that I'll just drop in here right now is Fraser Brooks, one of the biggest coaches in network marketing on social media. His dad came from, like back in the day, Herbalife or one of those big iconic companies. And he's become even bigger than his dad, a legendary name and helping so many people. So his dad's impact in his life while he was a child impacted him, but now impacts, I want to say, hundreds of thousands of lives, if not millions in network marketing. So there's the children of the network marketers. There's, your own children, if you're doing it, being able to add the values and, the soft skills that you really need day to day. Is you need a lot of soft skills and relationship skills as well. So you're learning those in the home with the parents coming back from the trainings. Is being able to have more time to give into your community. So like, I'm here able to give into the community of refugees that have come into Cyprus, and then also being able to go and work with children on more global impact in, orphanages or, countries that are underdeveloped as well.
Yeah. No, it's so true. It's those skills that we can't really teach them. They have to learn by feeling it or experiencing it,
Yeah.
And then if you thought about the skills that you teach, because I know that you help people with like closing on sales, and no one really wants to be kind of closed in on, but it's pretty much what happens, right? And so what would you want to...
It's just a technical term, right? So just like say those who are listening, because it may be of value for them. For me, closing is a sales technical term for an assertive conversation that collects a decision that allows you to know what to do next. So if you take away the word closing, which for some reason people get this stigma around the word closing, it sounds like so hard and like you're convincing people. No, it's an authentic conversation where you've got to listen more than you talk.
And so when you think, if I can touch on feelings, right? When you think like you're teaching someone, you've got to close on them, how do you want them to make that person feel when they're closing on them? What's your tactic of how someone's going to be? Because, when someone's being closed on, they either feel a certain way, right? There's 2 ways to feel. So how is your teaching on with closing?
Yeah, so you can never really control what the other person is feeling, but if you're behaving in the right way and you're listening to them, you can lead them to the right decision through questions. So there's something called Socratic selling, which is where you really ask questions and you let the prospect come to the conclusion themselves of what they want to do. And here's the thing, right? Every time I've like done the close and that person hasn't really been, fully like they've got against their will. So let's say, for example, maybe I've been focused on my agenda rather than their agenda. It always leads to buyer's remorse, which is like, it's just not worth your time. Like, you're just like, for goodness sake, you spent an hour to close them, then the next day they're like, oh, I've got remorse. Like, I wish I wouldn't have done that, and so there's almost like no point in convincing somebody against their will to do it. But if you've presented your products in the correct way, you've really shown them the benefit of how it's going to enhance their lives, like how it's going to make them feel or what benefits they're going to have, how their life is going to be better because of your product or your services. And then they make that choice based on what you've said, but you've got to lead them to a decision. So you don't want to leave it as maybe, I'm not sure, let me think about it. That for me is like not a good job of a closing. Like You want to know whether somebody loves what you do or it's not for them. And either way, that's cool. But you just want to be confident enough to have a conversation that gets a result. A yes is a result and a no is also a result. And maybe I want to think about it. Call me back in 3 days. That's not a result because your work is not done. So you want to make sure you do that. And if let's say, for example, you do get to the point where they're like, no, I need to go away, or I need to sleep on it, or I don't make decisions in a day. No worries. Was there some information that you needed to look at in order to help you make a decision? That's one way. And they might say yes, they might say no. I'll say, is there something that's holding you back from making a decision right now? And they might tell you what the real objection is. Some people, they're just not going to make a decision straight away. And I'll say, cool. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call you tomorrow at XYZ time, and I'm going to schedule it in my diary, and I will follow up with you. And you do all the thinking you need to do until then. You let me know if you have any questions in the meantime, and we'll have the final call for a yes or no decision tomorrow. Either way, that's cool with me. I just need an answer, so that way you're not wasting your time. You're laughing at me, but
no, because I learned this back in 2017 with you. So I'm like, yep, I'm doing this already, right? Because it gets results, but it's actually, more, with our time, we've got to be careful of our time. And so lots of people, because I think you would be surprised how many people don't know what you're talking about. They've learned it another way, which is understandable, but we need to come over that and not do that. And I love that you actually do your podcast because, you live and breathe this stuff. I live and breathe this stuff. That's why I'm laughing at you, because it's like I'm already converted. I know what you're saying. And I love that you do your podcast. Can you tell us more about that? Because that's exactly, these little nuggets that you're saying, they're all throughout your podcast, and they could just come through your life and through your podcast. And so I wanted to kind of help people know where else that they can hear from you. And do you want to tell us more about that?
Yeah, so we have a podcast that is generic network marketing training, also great for people in sales, direct sales. And you can listen to that podcast on Spotify, on Libsyn, on podcasts if you've got an iPhone, and it's Freedom Creators. So Freedom Creators. I'm sure Nicole will drop a little message in the comments of how to spell that. So Freedom Creators. And we've got over 100 episodes of great content, of great skills in there. But we also interview top income earners in our industry as well. So not just from our specific company, but lots of different companies around the world that are 7-figure earners, that are 6-figure earners, that have built legacies. We've even got Fraser Brooks on there. We've got people like Matt Morris. We've got an Australian speaker, Amanda Gore, who's in the Speaker Hall of Fame for Australia on there. So loads of great guests, but also loads of great skills training. So if you are in network marketing, sales, or direct sales, this is just our way of giving back. The podcast is our way of giving back. It's completely free. You can listen to it on any one of those platforms. So go ahead and, feel free to get in touch. Drop us a message if you think we can serve you in any way or with any questions. Yeah,
I know. And it's so because, my business was going since 2011, one of them. And so we literally with our sales team and that, we actually do that. And so that's what I love about it, because it's not just about network marketing and just having training for that. You can actually use it on any business, depending on what you're doing. Hey, and it's also life things. It's even personal development to do with life and to do with different situations, because you guys are both really living and really, talking the talk and walking the walk, just like me. And so I love that you guys are so transparent about it and just this is who you are, and you really give back to so many people. So I just love that. And I love obviously, I love the fact that you actually do encourage people with the words. And so I wanted to ask you, what's a sentence or a word of affirmation that you wanted to leave our audience with to encourage them?
Yeah, this is a really good one. So I'm actually going to talk now about a little practice that I do every day. It's a habit that I have. And so there's a book that everybody can read, by the way, called, oh my gosh, why has it just gone from my head? What to Say When You Talk to Yourself, Dr. Shad Helmstetter. One of my favorite books, huge psychologist. where you can literally just learn how to rewrite your self-talk and daily affirmations through your thoughts, and then words become things, right? Thoughts become things, but thoughts become words. You voice them out loud. So I definitely recommend to everybody, like not just network marketers, like everybody that sees this, just grab hold of this book, because this book will transform your life. It transformed my life. I read it Christmas 2013, and I was like, that was a real trigger for me, that book. And so every morning I make a practice of having a gratitude diary. I've actually just got it across the desk. I wonder if I can.
Okay.
I have to like get up and go and get it and show it, but it's all good. So it's a gratitude diary where I write 10 things. What are you grateful for today? And I start my day with gratitude. So I start my day with thinking, what do I have in my life that I'm thinking positively about? So like if I did it right now, I'm grateful for already completing 10,000 steps today. I'm grateful that I live by the sea. I'm grateful that, we went and bought milk for the coffee because we'd run out, and now I have my coffee here. I'm grateful for my beautiful cats and the sound that they make when they're meowing. I'm grateful for my garden and the sound of the birds. I'm grateful that I got an opportunity to speak to the owners of a vegan restaurant, which I'm going to go and have a meeting at today and talk about my products at. There's so much. I'm grateful you were able to delay by 10 minutes because I was really running late. I'm grateful that I've already planned my workout for today and that I've got my meal plan down. So that was like 10 things right there that I've just reeled off that I'm grateful for. So I've started the day in a positive mind, and I've now got that mindset of abundance, because when you start being grateful for the little things, the bigger things happen. It's like the book, The Secret, The Magic, right? If you start with those kind of philosophies in mind, you'll find that your mood throughout the day is like coming from a place of gratitude rather than scarcity. So in terms of like words of affirmations, always saying I'm so blessed, I'm so grateful, I'm so thankful is a really great way to start, I think.
No, totally. I was just teaching someone that this morning. Like, it's just amazing when you have that shift of like thinking about abundance, then you really do manifest that, and it comes even bigger, and just those little things turn into bigger things, and you can't even think what they're going to be. And so like on the opposite side, if it, you don't really want to be attracting that and like walking into that. So and it just, you can literally, like, two people can go through, like you were saying before, two people can go through the same thing and have a different outcome. And so like it's so powerful. And the fact that you do it in the morning, because it's so important, we know what we do first thing in the morning. So I love that you're doing that, and I love that you said that, because like just everything can change in their life if they just do that, and you actually get used to it. So many people are like, why can you be so positive, and how can you be so positive? Like, but I like, because I don't know any other way, because I was so used to it. Do you find that? Like,
you have to program yourself. And and it's gonna, at the beginning, if you're not used to being in a positive environment, it's gonna be hard. And that book did really help. What to say when you talk to yourself. It really helps me. But some of you, you're allowing a negative circle in your life, and that's affecting your direction in life. So you really have to become very self-aware and aware of environment, and take a look at, am I around complainers and moaners and people that are talking about other people behind their back? Or am I around people who are goal getters, goal setters? I'm talking about where they're going and what they're doing, action takers, and maybe change your environment, but think very deeply about every thought that comes into your head of, is this a good thought or a bad thought? If this is a bad thought, how can I change it to become more empowering? And there was so many, like, you start small, like, for example, just get rid of the word can't. Like that was like such an old lesson for me, that word doesn't really exist anymore. And the word try doesn't exist for me at all. Like, I had my mentor challenge me this week, which was like I thought I had like done a good job, and then they were like, do you think that's a good job? And I was like, okay, let me do some more. Like, let me see what else I can bring to the table here. But I had really thought that I had gone as far as I could go, but then, I was being challenged. So I wasn't going to say, I'll try. No way. Try is not Like, what does Yoda say? There is no try, just do, right? Little lessons. Like, I love Disney. I love Star Wars because they give little messages to kids that are empowering. So so that word try and that word can't, those were eliminated from my vocabulary a long time ago, which you think it sounds so silly, but it has a massive impact on your life. And it's all these tiny little steps that add up to a complete transformation. So you want to start small and then you go bigger.
I know, that's exactly true. No, I totally know that, because I choose the same thing. I choose to change words, so I don't say certain words, and it's not even in my like dictionary of my brain anymore, because it really, our words really manifest something. So it's so important. I love that you said that. It's so good things can come from that, right?
Like, so for example, if I want to program myself for success, I have a playlist that has only empowering lyrics on Spotify. Yeah. So like, I'll like program my head even with like the lyrics of songs that I listen to. And it's the same when I'm with the sales team. Like, we start every sales call with like the power of the songs that are going to program them for success.
No, I know those events as well. Like, just starting off with like the right environment, with the right atmosphere, the right song, it just does something, and it shifts the atmosphere to be like, yes, like it does. It's just, I forgot about that. Yes, that's actually so true. And I listen to music all the time in the morning. I'm like, what song do I want to do? Listen to. I'm really strategic in that, because it matters. And then I actually so I have this, right, my headset. And I put it in, and sometimes I'll put it in my ear. You won't even see it. And I literally will be at somewhere, and I'll put some music on, and that'll just change everything with how I'm feeling. And I'm like, yes. Whereas I don't have to be rude and people can't see it, but like, it really can shift what I'm thinking, or gives me more of a direction, because sometimes, we know, so I really pick up on people's feelings, and I have to realize these are not my feelings, they're all these people's. And so just making that shift of like being in the moment of like, what am I listening to and why am I thinking this? And then, but it is important what you're thinking, right? And what you're saying to yourself. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So true. I know. I love talking to you. Thank you so much for coming on today. I really, really, really appreciate it. That was amazing, right? I know. Thank you so much. Well, I'll let you go, but have the enjoy your. Is it morning over there?
It's like almost midday now, so it's almost midday. So I had my morning routine, and then we started, and then like now it's time for like a bunch of meetings. So.
Nice. Awesome. We'll let you go, but thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Awesome. Thank you.
See ya. Bye.